We've helped literally thousands of golfers, including ourselves, stop duffing and thinning their chip shots.
Yes, these are the 5 biggest mistakes that we see and how to fix them today.
So the shots we're looking at are literally basic chip and runs from the fairway. We're not thinking about the rough, this is literally from the fairway. Now, as far as clubs are concerned, what would we say? A pitching wedge is really good, so a pitching wedge loft up to maybe a 54 degree works really well for this basic chip and run.
Yeah, definitely. Now, if you struggle with short game, it's often because you have a poor relationship with the ground. So people who are, let's say, chunking the golf ball or knifing it through the back of the green, thinning it, it's often because they're scared of actually hitting the ground, because when they do hit the ground, the club is digging in, or when they miss it, that ball is actually sailing through the back of the green, and it just brings this horrible sort of almost anxiousness into the shot. So everything that we're going to go through today in these mistakes is going to help you build a really nice relationship with the ground, where you can actually hit the ground a little bit before the golf ball, and that's going to breed so much more confidence.
Still hit a good shot.
So much more confidence.
And by the way, we've all been there. We've all been scared of hitting the ground, but I love the fact that we can talk about a shot where we can hit the ground or the ball and it still works really well.
Exactly. Okay, so first mistake is a closed club face. So a lot of golfers will come to us for coaching and they'll set up to the golf ball and we see this face closed at address. Now, why this is a bad thing is that to build a relationship with the ground, we need to use the bounce. And when we shut the face down, we actually take off the bounce of the club. Now, a lot of people will do this is because sometimes they're using a 60 degree and almost trying to de-loft it. So they shut the face down, they take off the bounce of the club. That leads to digging into the ground. Horrible, again, can create the anxiousness we don't want. So as soon as we expose the leading edge, we're often dead. The other reason this is no good as well is because when we shut the face down, I'll put the magnet on here so you can see this. Obviously, the ball starts where the face is at impact. So if I shut the face down and then swing as normal, the ball's going to go miles left. So we have to compensate. And the way we compensate are 2 ways that we don't like. We either swing to the right, which does a couple of things. It shallows us out by having to reroute something, which we can hit the ground first. We don't want that, especially with the leading edge sort of digging in. And the other thing it can also promote is us wanting to lean the shaft forward. So if I start with a closed face, if I lean the shaft forward, I can get it square. But the problem now is I've took even more of the bounce off the club. Again, not great for when you strike the ground because that leading edge is going to dig in.
I think a pro tip on this as well, if you're someone who slices the golf ball, oftentimes you will naturally have the club face more closed because you're trying to stop the slice and then it bleeds into your short game. We see that a lot. So if you're a slicer as well, definitely pay attention to that.
Some of the best golfers chip with the face open.
The majority do that we see, don't
the majority.
Yeah.
So I've got a glove here on the ground pointing on my, well, just where I want the ball to start basically. So here's what you can do. Just place that next to the golf ball. A square face is still fine, but we want you to experiment with an open face. So I'm mashing the leading edge up here. That's a square face, but I'm gonna make sure I'm just gonna peel the toe away. So I now know that that club face is slightly open, maybe a couple of degrees, and now I'm gonna bring that in.
Peel the toe away.
I've
never heard you say that. I actually quite like that.
So from here now, we're just gonna make some swings. I'll do a couple of shots from here, face slightly open. This allows me to hit the ground, okay? And gives me the confidence that I can use the bounce, and it just glides across the turf there. It also just helps me return back to a fairly neutral position with the shaft, because now I don't have to compensate to try and lean the shaft forward to square the face. So from here, club face slightly open, allow the club to hit the ground, it just glides through the turf, a little bit of check on that one. Good thing about a slightly open face as well, creates a little bit more loft, creates a little bit more spin and some softness to the shot.
I love this. The one thing about this is you probably look at this and go, surely this can't be that important. This can drive all of the bad things that happen in your short game.
Experiment with just opening the face and hit some shots. It's a game changer.
Absolutely. Right, number 2.
This mistake is the lean and tilt. So alignment stick here, I'm just going to show you. I've got this G-Lay on today, it's perfect for today. I'm going to put this across the chest like this.
Nipple piercings.
So from here, I haven't got them by the way. This is the mistake that we see. Often again, because we see that people have got too much loft, so they do this. So they go lean the shaft way too much, takes all the bounce off the club again, not good. But as we lean the shaft, notice what happens to the right shoulder here. So from here now, I've got no bounce on the club, not a good thing. I've got the right shoulder low, not a good thing either, because when the right shoulder's low, it creates a very shallow attack angle.
Great for a driver.
Great for a driver, yeah, really good for a driver. And you can see what's happened there, that's fell out. So we don't want too much of a shallow contact with this. We want the club to be striking somewhat down, somewhat. We haven't got to try and do that so much. But instead of leaning the shaft forward and doing this, and either hitting the ground first with no loft, with no bounce, or thinning it through the back of the green, here's what we want you to do. Take your setup, relatively neutral with the shoulders. We're going to get the club pointing somewhere near the belly button like this, slightly open face. From here, take your left hand off, and all we're going to do from here is we're going to lean down this way slightly. So the left hand's going to move slightly down the leg. I'm leaning everything forward onto the lead leg, maybe 70% of the weight. Place my hand on the golf club now, and the shoulders now are a lot more level. This is going to help me get the low point somewhere near the ball, help create a slightly downward strike. But also from here, I'm using the bounce now because the shaft is a little bit more neutral. So from here, I'm leaning left, all the weight's on the left leg there, now back and through. Okay, and you can see there, a little bit of glide of the turf. I've got a slightly downward strike on that as well. It makes it so much easier.
And the beauty of this is we need the downward strike, but as you'll see later in this video, it's not necessarily about trying to do that. You're doing it all at the setup, which is really nice.
So I like to get the feeling this right shoulder's high here. Not this way, look. So you can see it wanting to come out. If you've got one of these G-lays, it definitely helps. So from here, lean on that side there, slightly down. Right shoulder's gonna feel high, back and through. Allow that club to just glide through the turf again there, and I can just feel the sole of the club being used.
I really like when you're doing these as well, because it's actually making you turn on the way through, which is obviously a key component, which we'll talk about in a
I'm not
moment.
going this way, am I?
Yeah, I love it.
Now, obviously, look, these are off a fairway lie. If you struggle with loads of different lies around the green, out the rough, short-sided, check out our plan, Complete Chipping, on meandmygolf.com. It'll massively help the rest of your short game. Okay, third one.
Third one.
This is a killer. This is probably almost the number one, this one.
I'm excited to see the comments on this one.
Okay, so have you been told that you are decelerating on your chip shots? So you duff it, and then somebody said, oh, I decelled, or you decelled on that. It's never, not never, very, very rarely the case. You look like you decelled because
it stopped.
the earth stopped moving the club. Okay, that's gonna stop anything. This is what we see, and this is why over-acceleration is a big mistake. We see short golf swings and an over-acceleration. So a swing that looks more like this. Okay, now we're talking about trying to create finesse here. We only have a lot of acceleration.
These are brand new practice balls away that you're just knifing through the back of the green. We're going to go and find them in a bit.
When we're talking about finesse and touch, we don't want to create that acceleration here. Now the issue that we see, here's the problem with this. If we swing short back, okay, we have to accelerate now to get some speed. But the problem is, if I accelerate the hands and the body, look what happens. This now leans the shaft forward and again takes off the bounce of the club.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we're using this really well. And as soon as we do this in short game, great for long game. If we do this in short game, it's not very good. It's going to develop that bad relationship with the ground. So instead of you actually having this acceleration through the shot, we want you to feel that the gravity does the work. So it's a no conscious acceleration.
Just before you go into that, Andy, just show me what it does to the radius of the swing as well, how it shortens the radius.
Yeah, so as soon as we do this, accelerate, notice now that club is up in the air. We have to do some very different things to get to the ball there, often by doing this. If you're a bit of a knee jerker in chipping, it's probably because you've got this over acceleration, and that's driving the knees down as well, because we get leaning the shaft forward.
You have to drive the knees, otherwise you'll just go over the top of the ball.
So here's what we want you to do. Swing back, okay? A little longer. The length of the swing is going to produce the distance. And from here, we want the gravity to feel that it drops the club and the body supports the swing. So swing back, let the gravity drop it, and the body supports it. There's no acceleration there. The acceleration is coming from the gravity. I'm just keeping the body supporting that. So let's just put it into action. I'll do one of these and then I'll blend it together. So swing back, let the gravity do the work. Okay, Again, probably the best one there so far. But I'm not forcing it, I'm not driving the shaft forward, I'm not accelerating through the shot there. I'm just allowing gravity do the work. This is probably the most important thing that you can do when chipping.
This is probably what saved my short game, and I've done this with so many golfers who've really struggled with the yips with chipping, they're scared to hit the ground. This was a huge one. By the way, what will happen when you do this for the first time, when you lengthen the backswing, you'll probably still have some acceleration and then you'll hit too hard. Please understand, but hitting it too hard is fine. The length of the backswing was good, but you were just still accelerating too much.
Exactly. One tip to help you do this as well, go super light. If on a grip scale of 1 to 10, go at a 2. Go at a 2 and keep that 2 throughout the whole motion. So when I'm doing this shot here, I've got hardly any grip pressure, but from here I'm just allowing the grip pressure 2 out of 10 to stay the same, to just stay the same. I'm just letting that club drop, and you can see there that ball is just rolling nicely out to the hole with no effort. If you start accelerating, guaranteed you're going to be gripping it really tight and having that acceleration through the shot there. The one thing I like to feel in this, by the way, when it comes to the no acceleration, is you'll see almost a slow change of direction. So the club will swing back and it'll almost be super slow in transition here as we go back and down. It's almost like a little pause where we're letting gravity sort of take hold. You'll know if you're an over accelerator because it'll look like this. It'll look short and a quick change of direction. So just feel that light pressure, feel it's almost a bit of a slower change of direction there, and that gravity just does the work. And you can see there how predictable that is. Not one of these shots, they haven't been perfect, but this gives you margin for error, and that's the beauty of this. What we're talking gives you room for error and gives you confidence.
And forever.
And forever.
One thing I've been looking at as well, Andy, when you've been playing those shots is that you've been hitting the ground in different places.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you've hit the ball first and then sometimes you hit the ground first, and the net result is very much the same.
We're using this in a really good way and it feels so easy. I'm not having to think, oh, where do I need to be super precise here? This is why we're doing these things.
Okay, let's do a swap over, Andy. I'll get in there, go through the fourth one. We're talking about swinging to straight. So look, this is basically when we are sending the club down the target line. Now we see this happen for a lot of reasons. We see this happen that oftentimes the club will go around the body maybe too much on the way back, or there's an intention that I've just got to send the club straight to the target because that's going to allow me to get the golf ball going straight to the target. We've got to remember we're playing on this arc when we play golf, so the club should be going around you. By the way, this is possibly the biggest source of double hits, because if we think about it, you're sending the club from here, very much around your body. You're probably going to hit the ground first, really early, which slows the club down. By the time it gets to the ball comes off the face, the club follows the ball down the target line, and suddenly you're hitting it over your head and it looks like an amazing trick shot. So we want to make sure when we're hitting this chip shot that the club is arcing in somewhat when we are swinging through. And that's where this head cover comes in really handy. So just literally getting a head cover, placing it under your arm. You can do the towel thing. Saw John Rahm not long ago doing some towel chipping at one of the majors, I think it was the Masters. You could also as well, by the way, you could just get the sleeve of your top shirt and just tuck it in as well. But ultimately we're pinning the lead arm to the torso, and all we're going to do now as we swing through is we're going to keep that towel, that cover, that bit of clothing in that armpit. It's going to go in, Andy. It's going to go in.
So notice here that the club has moved in from the target line here. A couple of things to note. Notice Pierce's chest is now facing the target. Do me a favour, Pierce. Show us what happens when we do it wrong.
Yeah, okay. And this is what will happen when you do it. You can watch the head cover. I'll keep that. Well, I'll keep it there for the moment. But when the club goes that way, we'll see a few things have happened. The club has gone down the target line. The cover's come out, so the arms come away. And I've actually moved back this way as well. So the club's going that way and I'm moving this way with my body.
No rotation here. The arms separate a lot from the body here. This is disastrous.
All of this is really bad for you.
All this is really disastrous. So,
and this could be down to you're trying to do it as well. And yeah, we're sorry, but if you're trying to do that, it's going to kill the short game.
One of the reasons I think this happens as well is because people get told that you need to chip like you putt.
Yeah.
Well, in a putt, the putter is generally going on a slightly straighter arc, much straighter than this arc. We've got to allow, you can see this alignment stick now, that club works in from that alignment stick. Really important thing to do. Just doing that there like this, getting that club working in. Piers has held his finish there, chest is facing the target. Another lovely golf shot there.
Let me hit one more, because I think you just alluded to that, Andy, what I want to talk about as well, which is holding the finish, sticking the finish. This tells you so much of what's happened before it, even things that we haven't even spoke about in this video. But if I swing through and I stick that finish, I can say to myself, is the weight still on the left side? Is my arm connected? Is the hands and the arms, are they doing a good job? Is the club in a good place? You can see whether it's rotated round. It's such a valuable thing to do that we see a lot of golfers not do, unfortunately.
Okay, fifth and final one, still really important, this one. What is it, Piers?
It is hitting down. Now look, we know that we want to have a downward hit when we hit a chip shot. We have to do that. But when we start saying to ourselves, we've got to hit down, and oftentimes we might see the ball go back and we have some funky looking setups, but if you're trying to hit down, we'll often see golfers going down into the ground. We've already spoke about the knees. We've already spoke about, you know, the knees moving down towards the ground and things like that, losing height. We don't want to be doing that. So if the concept in your mind is, I've got to hit down on the ball, and you are moving down to the ground to do it, you're going to crash the club in the ground and you're going to duff a lot of chip shots, and then you're going to be scared and then you're going to start thinning it through the back of the green.
Guess what? If you tell the brain to hit down, guess where the body's going to move? The body's going to move down with it, because it's pretty good at achieving what you want it to do, but we have to understand how we actually do that.
Yes.
And what Piers is going to go through now is going to seem counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But it's this is really, really important. I know you've worked at this as well.
Absolutely. This is huge. Again, always have the mindset, we're creating everything we can to allow the club to go down, but we now need to make sure something comes up. If we look at the best short game players who play the game, we know that as the club is going down, something is coming up when they hit the shot. Now, whether it's the hands coming in soft here like this, or whether it's rotating and allowing the shoulders to come up, or whether it's rotating, allowing the head to come up, if it's the legs straightening up, there's something coming away from the ground. So I would say to you, and this is what we'll do for somebody who's really scared of hitting the ground, I want you to hit some shots. I'm just going to move that out of the way, Andy. I want you to hit some shots where you are brushing the ground, but you're standing up. Whatever it takes. So it could be that your legs are straightening, your chest is coming up, your head is coming up. It's okay to do that as long as you brush the ground, but the practice swings are going to be crucial for you. So you can see every time something's coming up, but I'm brushing the ground. I'll hit this one. Again, you just watch the body, how it moves up, something moves up, but I brush the ground. And I actually hit the ground quite aggressively there, but the club did not dig in because something came up.
So you can see, let's just do that again actually, Piers. Just want to point out, you know, when you hold your finish, again, this is just crucial, do this and hold your finish. Piers is going to brush the ground and stand up, hold it there. Look how Piers now is much taller through the golf ball. He's still hit the ground, his left leg's nice and straight, he's turned through. He knows that everything here is good. And just by getting to this position, focusing on the end, takes a lot of the way the anxiety, doesn't it?
It does.
Because you're not focused on trying to make the perfect contact down there. You're just going, let me just get to here. And then all of a sudden the club moves great, we're brushing the ground. Sounds really simple, but really, it can be really easy.
That last shot felt really nice, and I probably hit the ground about an inch before the golf ball. So that's the whole beauty of this technique. We're allowing you to be not as accurate with your strike. And if we think about it with your techniques before, you had to be absolutely perfect with your technique. So again, let's just do one more. So my main focus on this one is to absolutely straighten that leg up so my belt almost feels like it's raising from the ground. Okay, and that is so simple. It just allows you so much margin for error when you're hitting those chip shots.
Take that grouping around there.
That's pretty decent actually for us choppers. Now look, if there's anything in this video that you're not sure about, let us know in the comments down below. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, and if you want to find out how to chip around any scenario around the green, make sure you check out our coaching plan, Complete Chipping. The link is in the description. Thanks so much, and we'll see you again soon.